Bastrop Economic Development Corporation board meeting. I am calling this meeting to order. I need to find out, do we have any public comments right now?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay,
No,
very
sir.
good. We will move on then to presentations under 3. We'll go to 3.A. Presentation by the Smithville Workforce Training Center, DBA Career Tracks, and we're going to ask them to, Dory, why don't you take over from here?
Absolutely. Good evening, directors. So as we begin to focus our efforts on transformational partnerships, which we discussed at our strategic planning session, we will begin to have different strategic partners present at your monthly board meetings to further educate and inform the board of their efforts in the community. So this evening, it's my pleasure to introduce the Smithville Workforce Training Center doing business as Career Tracks. Here to present tonight is Janice Bruno, and she's the Executive Director of Career Tracks, as well as Alan Butler, who's the Bastrop County Coordinator.
Thank you, Dory. Mayor Pro Tem, Bastrop Economic Development Corporation, we really appreciate you inviting us tonight to give you a little bit more insight. And I believe what we're going to be presenting tonight is going to answer some of the questions that you all just talked about in the meeting that you just had. So hopefully we'll give you some goodies here to think about. We're not here really to ask you for any money. The mayor might want to think that's a good thing. But we are going to give you some food for thought and some things to think about for the county. And I'm going to go ahead and let Alan throw out the data that we have collected using a tool called Lightcast, which some of you might be familiar with Jobs EQ. This is one step above it. It's called Lightcast. And then if you really want to go with the champion data is called EconoView. Now that's a little pricey. We were fortunate enough to be able to get Lightcast through Workforce Solutions Rural Cap. So a lot of the reports that we're pulling down, I actually have been sending to Dory. And we've actually run some regional data, but we specifically want to talk to you tonight about the Bastrop County data and what we can do for Bastrop County. Alan?
Well, good evening. I'm Alan Butler, as Janice said. I'm the Bastrop County Coordinator. And we've been here, I think, about a year ago or so. So we'll give you a quick update on, just for some of you who might be new or not refresh what we do exactly. We serve Bastrop, Caldwell, Fayette, and Lee County. Consult local businesses to understand what their needs are. Much like you guys were talking about earlier, we go out in the community, learn what the needs are of local businesses, go back, develop training programs, recruit people in the community that we can train or upskill existing employees that might already be working for those businesses and fill those demands that they need, and then ensure that they get into those positions that are in high demand within the community. We develop training programs based on those high demand occupations. So anything that's a high demand occupations, most of that's set by the Texas Workforce Commission. There's a top 25 list. We try to focus on those top 25 needs within that TWC list that have a good prevailing wage of $18 an hour or more as well as a key component. Next slide. So programs that we currently offer based on the specific funding we have and then match up with those TWC alignments. Medical and allied health, so we do things like RN, LVN, and LCDC type training, as well as things in allied health like dental assisting, paramedic, advanced EMTs, those types of courses. On the skills trade side, currently we have funding for CDL, driving, commercial driving. That's one of our largest programs and most successful to date. We've done very well in that. We've got a little over 60 drivers that have been job placed already, and I believe we've trained pretty close to 100 folks in that arena. And public safety, again, goes back to EMT, firefighter, paramedic, EMS, those types of security guard training as well, or some other things that we've also accomplished in that arena. And the finance sector, we're working with banks and bookkeeping and accounting folks to get the needs met in their areas, as well as internet technology and IT, and we have various different disciplines that we can train in there as well. But the biggest thing today, I want to kind of give you an economic overview of Bastrop County. Sitting on this board, you probably know most of this information, but I think it's a good review to kind of show the narrative where we're trying to go with all this. In 2023, the population of Bastrop County as a whole was about 112,000 people. That grew about 30,000, or by 30% to 25,000 or so in the last 5 years, and that is projected to grow additionally over the next 5 years to about another 30,000 folks. So, that's quite an expansion of population. We all know we're growing. We live here. We drive on the roads. We know what the services are like around the area. During World War II, this is nothing new. We had about the same amount of people, interestingly enough, during the World War II when Camp Swift was at its heyday. They had population of Bastrop County was about 21,000. Camp Swift housed over 90,000 troops and about 3,500 POWs in the height of the war. So we have seen this type of population here in the past, interestingly enough. Some things that were noted earlier, I think City Manager Sylvia mentioned earlier, we have good median income. We are about $5,000 above the national average. Our national household income median is about $80,000 in Bastrop County. So we do attract and recruit some high earners in our community as well. So this slide might be a little bit hard to see based on where you're sitting exactly, because I thought we were going to be on the bigger screen today. But just kind of an overview, just kind of what the demographic breakdown is in Bastrop County. And key takeaway I want to point out here is the unemployed folks, right? So we have all these different demographics, but we have about 2,115 folks that are currently unemployed in Bastrop County. So when we start talking about filling demands and filling needs, it's an interesting topic of conversation to look at. So that's kind of one of the areas I'd like to explore a little bit more with you tonight. Something to think about and to consider as an EDC. But we do have 51,437 folks that are in the labor force, and about 49,000 of those, 322 are employed. So that's kind of where they break down out of that 120-ish thousand population. So our population trend keeps going up. We know that. We've grown over 30%. We're going to continue to grow about another 27%. Up to 2028, we're going to add another 30,000 people to the area. So we all know that we have this train wreck coming, right? So job trends. So from 2018 to 2023, we increased about 17.5% in Bastrop County as far as jobs growth goes. So that's pretty substantial when you really look at that data. We went from 22,000 to about 26.6 or so. So this change actually outpaced the national average of a rate by 4.3% to 13.1%. So we had 13% job growth, which is pretty outstanding when you really look at drill down the data. So.
We outpaced the national growth rate by 13%.
That's correct.
Wow.
So we're growing quick.
Boy, don't I know.
So one of the interesting topics I like to look at, I think this piece of data is very interesting. We have about 30,000 folks that are in that retirement age, where they could at least start to think about retiring or qualify to retire. That 55-plus generation, right? And behind that, those folks who are, that 25, 39, those millennials that everybody loves. We have about 20,000 of those in our community. So we have about a 10,000 person deficit to fill all these positions as those folks start to filter out and retire, right? So we have all these people coming in and all this influx, and we talk about all this job growth and job needs, but this is an interesting piece of data when we look at what the gaps really look like, where they actually land. So who's going to fill all those jobs as those folks filter out and retire? And housing, like we talked about earlier, rooftops, bringing people in to fulfill the needs that we just have currently today. This is what the data looks like. This isn't having a conversation about bringing more businesses in that have a demand. So unemployment by age is one of my favorite slides. This data is very startling, very interesting. Everybody talks about, we go to these communities, we go talk to employers, we have these coalition meetings that we do around the 4 counties with businesses, and everybody's about getting into schools and how do we get the young people to work. Well, the problem is that most of them are already working. They're not unemployed, right? They either graduate and move out of the area, go somewhere else for work. They graduate and go to college, get out of the area. And the ones who do stay, a majority of them, at least from what the data is showing, from 18 to 24, most of them are working. We only have about 200 of them that don't have a job. The folks that have issues, or not issues, the folks that are sitting at home, startling, is that the ages of 25 to 54. Almost 70% of the unemployed people are in that age bracket, prime working age of their life, right? So we have 2,115 people sitting on the couch at home that are of age, the ability to work, in our community. So when we really look at EDC and job needs and how do we help employers that are trying to come to our community, this is an area that we definitely probably need to drill down and look at a little bit more. Of who are these people? Where do they hang out? Where do they live? What are their needs? How do we help them to get them employed? And we only have 3% unemployment. It's fluctuated over the last couple of years, but we have about 3 to 4% unemployment on average in our county in general. So it's pretty low. We're already kind of scraping most of those folks that are getting out and want to work to help them. So we look at industry breakdown within the county. So government's our largest industry, hands down. And there's some discussion here tonight as well about retail. Retail trades, it's a big industry already. It's one of the top industries. It is the top industry when we take out government.
Government's largely school, right?
Yes, so it'd be any municipalities, government, county, city, anything. Correct. So retail trades, food services, and then we got construction, followed by healthcare, manufacturing, and so on. So you can kind of see a little bit of a breakdown of what our big industries are currently in the community. So, there's a lot of talk about we need everybody has an opinion about what restaurant and Costco and Sam's Club needs to come in, but we do have a lot of things here already. Oh, I need columns. There it goes. So what are the highest demand jobs currently in Bastrop County? We're going to go back. I'm seeing two things here. Seeing one thing there and one thing here.
Oh, yeah, it was doing that earlier.
All right. So highest demand jobs in Bastrop County. Well, we've learned at the workforce and all the data we've seen and all the community partners that we talk with and businesses we talk with, healthcare is our highest demand. We need nurses, LVNs, folks that are in the healthcare industry. There's a whole host of them, allied health. That's the biggest need. It's followed by sales and kind of the retail industry. Obviously, that's the largest industry, so there's a need for that. Office and administrative support. Then it's followed by like teachers and education, management, and other healthcare supporting things. So we don't really get to some of those big flashy ones that everybody talks to until really way down the list. It's not necessarily what our highest needs are currently in the county when we look at the real data. So top growing jobs in Bastrop County, so management, right? We have all these businesses, we have all these industries, we have all these people coming in, so we really need managers. That's something that nobody's really looking at a whole lot as far as project managing or just hiring and recruiting people that can manage well. Food preparation's another big one, and then transportation, material, and moving things. So again, our biggest program is CDL driving. That fits in that category. Business and finance operations, installation, maintenance, repair. That'd be more of your kind of facility maintenance type stuff. And then you get on down to construction, extraction, those types of flashier things start to get bottom of the list there. So another piece of data that's interesting to look at within our county and some things to consider as an EDC board. Businesses, our businesses, we have almost a 50%, if you look at the 4 counties within the region that we serve, in Bastrop County alone, 46% of businesses are 1 to 4 employees. When we go to 10 employees or less, we go up to 72%. So growing those small businesses and investing in those small businesses, helping them get the resources that they need and the workforce that they need, will be able to organically grow the folks that are already here and help them move along as we grow to meet the needs of the community. We are all excited about all the people coming in and all the businesses that want to come in. We have a lot of businesses here that are already doing a lot of services, that are already employing people. Another part of the conversation is how do we continue to help them grow and be successful and get the employees that they need to grow their business. I don't have that here.
Falls in that 250 to 699. Okay, SpaceX is number 2.
Correct. The large employers, there's only 4 of them that have over 250 employees. So basically, how can BDC help? We're all those able-bodied workers that I mentioned, right? So that 2,115 folks that are hanging out, we don't know where they are, from 25 to 54. how do we help them get in the workforce? What is the plan for helping businesses in the community? And when you're talking with businesses, trying to attract and recruit them here, we have this 2,000 people sitting around that we could potentially put to work. So that might be a topic of conversation for you guys to look into. Student scholarships and earn to learn programs are really big for us in terms of helping employers get the demand that they need. So if you guys can help us with finding different resources that might be out there to help us bridge those gaps, that's always great. Helping with legislative advocacy, and we've submitted a proposal with our state representative, with the workforce board as well, to kind of go after some more earn to learn and some different funding to help support what we're doing as far as the workforce training arena goes. And then our ultimate goal is to get a training facility going that's a little bit bigger, and we were able to go down and meet with the Craft Training Center, really look at that type of model that they have down there in Corpus Christi. Very good facility. It's very interesting how they've been able to get industry to really support most everything they're doing with very low cost tuition for the students that go there. We're talking in the $500 to $800 a semester range for them to get skilled training that they need for 4 to 5 semesters. And then a lot of these folks are making very, very good money at 18 to 20 years old. And they earn and learn as they go. They're working in industry in the area. So modeling something like that here can definitely be very successful. There's one other facility that I think Janice wanted to talk about as well.
So like Alan said, we had this opportunity. Sylvia is very familiar with it, the Craft Training Center of Coastal Bend. It's funded through industry partners. They started almost 30 years ago. We actually got to meet with Dr. Wayne Kelly, who was a superintendent of schools in San Saba. He actually runs this facility for about $1.4 million a year. And it's funded primarily, like I said, through the big refineries, the industries that are in the Coastal Bend area. And they focus on 8 different disciplines. So, you know, everything that those industry partners need in the Coastal Bend area, that's what they trained. And it's very, very inexpensive for these students then to go to school. They come out, they're making $130,000 a year, and they're really happy, 18 and 19-year-olds, because they don't have student debt from going to college. It's all merit-based, and it's all certificate-based type training. And they have 2 priorities. And the one priority is to prepare the skilled workforce in that area to meet the demand. That's what we need to do, prepare the skilled workforce to really meet the demand. On that previous slide, we looked at one of the larger businesses. It was SpaceX, all right? We went on a SpaceX tour. We met with the engineers, all right? The engineers, they can come in there with a 4-year, 6-year degree. They still start at the bottom at SpaceX. I mean, you know, they might be running the cafeteria, but they start at the bottom. And then they said, we train our own. So I think if we really think about who we're going to train or who we're going to develop, we need to look at the data and try to focus on what we really need to train in Bastrop County. So one of the other things that they produce the workers then, who's going to fill the jobs. That's why right now we're really focused on the healthcare, because we know healthcare is one of the largest industries right now that is needing workers. For example, EMT, paramedics, advanced EMT. We just approved another ESD, right? Y'all just passed to put another ESD, and I heard some number like we're going to need 75 more EMTs. Okay, great, let's train EMTs. That's what the workforce, that's what they need, so that's what we'll train. And we're seeing this on all 4 counties, so just not Bastrop County. They also work real closely with the high schools. So great, we're working closely with the high schools, but we also have a partner, Workforce Solutions Rural Cap. All right, so we're not alone. We have them, they work with the high schools, they have career coaches, and it's been excellent. We just had a great meeting at TCS Mechanical. We met with a lot of the CTE coordinators from the schools. We met with the assistant superintendent of the Smithville High School was there, and I believe the Bastrop CTE person was there. So they told us what their needs were. And one of the greatest needs that they're saying in the high schools, right, is financial literacy. So we're seeing that as students are coming through us. We've processed probably over 600 folks through career tracks. Now, we don't have, all of those people don't go to training, but that's been the interest. We've got about 400 in the training pipeline right now. They're in some sort of healthcare, skilled trades training class right now with one of our educational providers, and we've got about 17 different educational providers that we've partnered with to do the training. but they said financial literacy, and I believe it, because most of these kids don't understand, even if they got a prevailing wage of $18 an hour, they don't know. So one of the things we want to do that we're going to talk about here in a minute is we talk about those businesses, right? 1 to 4 people, right? And 72%, or 1 to 10 people. So Smithville just did a groundbreaking for the Innovation Center, and I believe Becky Wammel and the chamber here is also going to do something. We could probably use an Innovation Center in every little village. And what we want to focus on at the Innovation Center, of course, is business, helping these small businesses. Maybe, you know, we teach financial literacy. We teach these small businesses, hey, this is what you do to grow your business. So those kind of opportunities are going to, present themselves right now. And we can really help these folks get into the line of work that they got to get into without spending a whole lot of money and be successful. The other thing we learned from the Craft Training Center was, of course, they start at the 6th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So they'll run these summer programs. So we talked about that the other day with BISD. We'd like to be able to do and start running some of the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, through a model where they're going to get exposed then to all these different industries. And I understand that a lot of these kiddos, when they get in the 9th grade, they got to pick some sort of a career path. And I think we've got 2 school board members here. So they pick a career path in 9th grade, but I think if we can expose them at 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, then when they get to 9th grade, they have a better understanding. And so that's what the Craft Training Center does down in Corpus Christi. I was told they're going to move the similar model down into the valley. And the only other real model, which is a monetized model, is Texas Technical College, which is in Hutto. Their courses are much, much more expensive. So if we can do some sort of a model like that here in Bastrop County, I think that's what we need to focus on. I'm going to let Alan go ahead and tell you how we have continued to collaborate with our ISDs.
Thank you, Janice. So Janice mentioned we did have that CTE program, that CTE meeting the other day. It was interesting. But as she mentioned, picking these pathways, so as students get into that 9th grade, they've got to pick a track, whether it's medical, skills trades, college, military, career readiness. So a lot of these students are just kind of out of whim. They're picking things at, middle of 8th grade, and that's what they're going to do with their life. They haven't really been exposed to a whole lot. So again, exploring what some of those options are, making sure there's good exposure to those students as they're getting into those programs, crucially vital and important. To make sure that as they go through school, they finish, because when they do finish, they're getting an industry-based credential. Many of those programs are able to give those industry-based credentials that we're doing on the CTE adult education side after they've already graduated high school. So many of them can walk out the door in May when they graduate and be job ready at that point. So it's crucially important to collaborate with the schools and continue those discussions and make sure everyone's on the same page, again, with what you guys are seeing and talking with folks in the community, understanding what those relationships are and what the long-term needs are in the community. Let's see. I think that's it. What about it? Oh, so the incubator space that Janice mentioned, the Innovation Center. So the incubator space is part of that Texas Department of Agricultural grant that we received through the City of Smithville to put together that Innovation Center. And as part of it, there's going to be some bays in there that are specifically slated for skills trades and businesses. So kind of folks who are looking to, not necessarily ready for the brick and mortar, but they're kind of in that interim spot where they might be still working out of their truck or van or out of their home and garage, to get them into a low cost, low barrier to entry facility to kind of get a storefront or a place to house their facility and business and office space. So that's another thing that's going on over there with that TDA grant as well, and that Innovation Center. That's going to be a vital key component to really seeing that transition of how folks get into the industry. Maybe they take training, they want to start their own business, and then how can they move forward with actually accelerating in that pathway long term. Anything else?
Yeah, are there any questions? I think we could probably help also, because we now have this beautiful data that we can drum up, and any kind of reports that you want. I mean, we did receive it from Workforce Solutions Rural Cap. They pay the yearly, so whatever reporting that you'd like us to provide, we provided it to Caldwell County, Lee County. So we're not alone here in Bastrop. They don't have it either. And I think we've got to be data-driven. We've got to do this training based on the data. So appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much.
Janice, can you get maybe Dory a copy of the slideshow? Because I'd love to have a copy of what
Yeah,
you did.
she's
I
got it.
didn't get that. Oh, did you eat? I have such a hard time getting on here.
Something else I was going to mention, because TJ just spoke up, is on the licensed chemical dependency counselors. So we know we've got a mental health, we've had suicide issues, we've had all sorts of things going on in Bastrop County. We've got a huge drug issue also. So we're working with Last Resort, Banyan Recovery, Willows Recovery. I mean, and we're placing these people in these positions because these guys are desperate. They want LVNs, they want licensed chemical dependency folks because these places are filling up. So we just recently convinced Workforce Solutions Rural Cap we need another 8 slots so we can train some more LCDCs. So it's very exciting times. We just got the word that we can train 20 more nurses at $10,000 a nurse, up to $10,000 for the nursing. So if you've got any nurse people out there that are in school that we can help, that are in one of the 4 counties, we'd like to help. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. At this time, we're going to go ahead and move up 4C as the next one. 4C is the consideration, discussion, and possible action on donating office equipment that the BEDC is no longer using to the Smithville Workforce Training Center. So, Dory?
Yes, sir. So during our move from the Wellness Center here to City Hall, we ended up with an excess of equipment that we would like the board to consider donating to Career Tracks, who presented here this evening. You may have seen the equipment when you came in. It was in the hallway, and I have just a light inventory. We have computer monitors, computer stands, stereo system, keyboard, new CD cases, projector, cables, chargers, a webcam, and a set of headphones. So once again, this equipment is a surplus that was accumulated over the 15-plus years that the BEDC has had revolving staff, and we'd like for the board to consider donating it to a good cause.
So this is one of those legal questions, Charlie. The local government code posted here says that we are allowed to do this for an institution of higher education. Is there a definition of institution of higher education, and does Career Tracks qualify for that?
I believe there is. I don't see this as a project, though. So I see this as similar to how I deal with surplus information, surplus and equipment that cities have. You know, cities can't spend can't grant public funds, and it's very common for cities to say this is surplus equipment, it's unnecessary to the function of the government, it's of little value, and rather than throw it away, we're going to donate it to some entity. I see this as very similar, so if this board would like to make a finding that this equipment is surplus, unnecessary to the, the board or the corporation, I feel comfortable in allowing this as a donation.
Thank you. Well then, I motion that the BEDC recognize this equipment as surplus and as not necessary for the ongoing operations of the EDC, and thus donate to Career Tracks.
Second.
And thank you for using the words that I couldn't get in my head, unnecessary to the operations of the
All right, all
corporation.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, we will then go on back to, let's see here, 3B. Consideration, discussion, and possible action on the result of the sports complex feasibility study. I think we have already done this, so for those of you that were not here during that discussion, we are no longer going to pursue this. So that's the end of that discussion. All right, moving on. Regular business. Approval of meeting minutes from the regular board meeting of November 18th, 2024, the joint meeting with the City Council of December 3rd, 2024, and the strategic planning meeting of January 13th, 2025. Anybody want to offer up a
Motion
motion
to
to approve?
approve.
these? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Chair, what are we planning to do for item 3C? The,
3C? There is no 3C. Where do you see 3C?
The quarterly update by the retail coach.
See, I don't have that.
You're right, we don't.
Please, what is it? I didn't. Okay, sorry, I did not have this in my package. I apologize for that. 3C, receive quarterly update provided by retail coach, and that would be Dory.
Yes, sir. So this also goes back to our strategic planning meeting last week where we discussed having a monthly update from Retail Coach and understand their purview, what they've been working on and whatnot. Some of this is not listed by name because some is still confidential, but this will essentially give you really good overview every month on what's in the pipeline, what is coming online. I wasn't going to read every single item. Y'all can do that in your spare time, but I did want to make a couple notes. When it does reference QSR, that's a quick service restaurant, so think of your Chick-fil-A, think of your McDonald's, etc. And then also something that I learned today is y'all are familiar that the Rue 21 space has been vacant for a while in Burlington Crossing, and that is going to be filled with a national child's clothing store. So we can look forward to that space being filled with a need that I think the community needs. And then lastly, I will be attending the ICSC Expo coming up this week just on Thursday. And really what you're going to see here is staff narrowed down with Retail Coach a few needs such as a furniture store, family entertainment, a breakfast eatery, more eateries in general. And if the board ever has any insight as to things that y'all would be that you would look forward to seeing in our community, please do reach out to staff, and staff will make sure to add that to Retail Coach's list.
Okay, any questions?
No, I'm a comment really. I spoke with the developer at Burleson Crossing East this week, and one of the things that he communicated is that we're in a challenging banking environment right now because of high interest rates and rules that the banks have shifted in terms of the developers needing to put up a greater percentage of money on loans that they want to take out. And that he anticipates that at these retail events that very few deals will be made in the immediate term, but everyone is talking and planning for the things that are coming next. I just, thought that was relevant.
Yeah, no, it is.
Dory, the list of targets, is the list compiled businesses that are actively looking to expand, especially in this area? Or are these targets that that staff is saying,
That's
hey, we
right.
should go after these guys? Okay, so there's a list of targets that, or there's a list of retail stores that are looking to expand in this area, and that's what my hope is to, and surprisingly, most of them are here already in Bastrop, but there are some on that list through Retail Coach that are wanting to expand to this area, and why are we not maybe looking at that list?
I believe there is a connection there between what staff has covered as far as what we would like to see here from what we hear in the community, as well as who is already looking to expand. And that may not have been expressed in this update,
Okay.
which I apologize, but
That's
there
fine.
is a connection
Okay,
there.
great.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Any further comments or questions from the board? Okay, great. Dory, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see here. Now we will move on to 4A, and that is going to be approval of meeting minutes from the regular board meeting of November 18th, 2024, the joint meeting with City Council December 3rd, 2024, and a strategic planning meeting of January 13th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those not? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to 4B. Receive financial report for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024, and monthly financial reports of the month of October, November, and December 2024.
Good evening. First, I'm going to present, excuse me, the September 2024 financial statements. This is for the entire fiscal year end. Our sales tax is down about 8%. It is a little bit higher than the trend, a little bit higher percentage than the trend for the general fund, but I don't believe that we maybe cut it quite enough when we were making our calculation. And you can see that our personnel was quite low. We budgeted for a partial year of an extra person that we did not use. Contractual services included Blakey, which we did not spend $771,000, and that will be included in our fiscal year 25 budget. Capital improvements included Accutronic Site Ready for $1.2 million and the business park infrastructure for 1.4, and we did not pay out the Accutronic, so that was the difference in that amount.
That just means it's going to be pushed off until this fiscal year.
Yes. In our September report, the biggest difference is going to be our contractual services. We had a negative number in our expense line item there. This is because we had overpaid the city for a transportation study, so that money was reimbursed. So it hit that expense line item to refund that money. And then you can see our sales tax revenue. Of course, we had the change mid-year, and so there is a large variance. You'll see in the first quarter of the next year, when those slides come up, the forecast and how much closer it is. Okay, this is our equity statement that shows where we have restricted. This has been the same every month that we have in fiscal year 2024. In 2025, you will see Mocha and Techno Adhesives paid. Oh, and Fiesta in half. Our capital outlay did not change from August to September, and our city project drawdown also did not change. So for October to December, we will start with October financial statements. There is a net loss in October. This is due to the refund paid to Mocha Ventures. We actually paid them out $814,612.96. I have a slide to show the calculation further in the presentation. In November, our maintenance and repairs was above forecasted. That was for the renovation of the EDC space in City Hall. In December, repairs and maintenance was also up. That was also for renovation of EDC space in City Hall. Contractual services was higher than budgeted. We paid a large majority of the sports complex in October and December, and then $16,000 for fiber in the business park that were included in that line item. For the quarter ended, you can see that our sales tax is actually up quite a bit. Our maintenance repairs are up. Of course, that's because of the renovations. Contractual services, like I said, that's the sports complex, and then fiber in the business park. And then our land grant rebate is, the expense is $1.1 million. That is the MoCA and the technical adhesives payment.
If you don't mind, would you go back one slide, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, land grant rebate, you have 300,000 in there is the December actual. What was that for again?
That
please?
was for the technical adhesives rebate.
Okay.
They met all of their,
Thank you.
which it also shows up here. Okay. This slide shows the sales tax that we've received. I forecasted it based off of 2023 numbers, so it just kind of was a percentage split out. Sales tax is up this year for the first 3 months. So we estimated a 3% increase, so maybe we were a little low on that. Okay, this is the equity statement. This is what will change. So MoCA Ventures and Technical Adhesives, we paid both of those out, and you can see, all of the top lines add together to be the fund balance beginning of the year. That is as of October 1st. Technical Adhesives was paid $300,000. MoCA was paid $814,612. And then we have a budgeted net loss that's due to Blakey being budgeted. And then we did reduce Fiesta in half for fiscal year 25, so our undesignated fund balance did increase.
Just curious if you don't mind, since we didn't do anything with Blakey, we didn't spend money on Blakey, right?
No.
Okay, so why does it show as a negative, a loss?
Because it is out of previous year funds. So it's more than what we budgeted our operating expenses based on the sales tax, or our revenues received for the current year, but Blakey was using previous year funds. Okay. This is a slide to show how we calculated the payment for MoCA Ventures. Because there was only $333,147 restricted for that, I wanted to show you how we came up with the final refund. The original sales price was $900,000. There were closing costs of $63,353, legal fees of $3,500, and according to the contract, they were going to pay a portion of the road that was built, which was $500,000. So that made the estimated refund be $333,000. When we refunded them, we actually refunded them that $500,000. So the final refund was $900,000 minus the closing costs, minus the legal fees, minus the prorated ad valorem taxes.
Refresh my memory again, we paid them back the $500,000 for the money they put up to be half the road cost?
Correct. That was part of the agreement. They were going to get $500,000. But since the property reverted back and et cetera, we had that conversation with legal and executive session to include it back in their repayment for possession of the property. We can have an offline.
And the capital outlay, the sports complex was the change. Ocutronics Site Ready has not been paid yet, and the business park improvements, there has been nothing else expended out of that account line item. So, and then the drawdown, of course, it has not changed because we haven't done anything else with Blakey. Yep, absolutely.
Well, we haven't spent $1 million, so that's, are you considering that in the 24 budget, or is that going to be moved now
for the Accutronic site ready. It is not spent yet. That is what we anticipate to be spent when they are done. That has not been budgeted. That will be a budget amendment. It is shown, yes, it's shown as fund balance. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see here. We're going to now move on to 4D. Consideration and possible action approving Resolution R 2025-0001, approving an agreement with Roscoe Bank to administer the BEDC Revolving Loan Fund Program using donated funds from Roscoe Bank and BEDC funds in the amount of $30,000 per fiscal year. Oh, Dory was going to do that. Would you like to? Oh, okay.
My laptop was running out of battery.
Oh.
Okay, well, this project, it forced Mr. Rick Womble straight out of the country for reprieve on the coast of Mexico to recover from the stress of this project. Just kidding. So tonight we have Mr. Womble does send his regards, and with us representing Roscoe Bank and Cornerstone is Mr. Michael Hancock and Johnny Sanders. So if you have any further questions after I go over the summary, then feel free to also address them. So the revolving loan fund program initially launched in 2023, and in collaboration with Roscoe Bank staff, legal counsel, and BEDC staff and counsel, we restructured the program to position the BEDC as the primary marketer and guarantor rather than the loan originator. So included in your packet tonight are two key documents, and these are what we're looking for the board for approval tonight. These documents detail the update to the program. The first document is labeled BEDC Program Overview, Additional Guidelines and Requirements. And this is the public-facing document that will be used for marketing purposes and made available on our website. And it provides an accessible overview, as seen on the screen, of the program's benefits, eligibility criteria, and application process. The second document in your packet tonight is titled Referral Agreement, and this is the agreement between the BEDC and Roscoe Bank, and it outlines the specific roles and responsibilities of each party. It establishes the BEDC as the guarantor of the loans and Roscoe Bank serving as the designated lender, and the details, the procedures for applicant referrals and approvals. So these updates are designed to enhance the program's effectiveness in supporting local businesses and promoting economic growth in Bastrop. So we are available for questions if you have any.
Any questions?
Yeah, the city's, well, the BEDC's role is guarantor. So what happens when a loan recipient goes out of business and doesn't pay their loan back?
It's a write-off to bad debt. Actually for them, the BEDC moves the money into an account. The bank recoups that dollar amount, and for the BEDC, it's a write-off to bad debt.
And the bank would follow their terms and guidelines on how long that process takes. So usually it's a 30-day notice and a 60-day notice, etc.
Then I guess we're going to need a motion for the resolution.
Can I just ask one question?
Of course you can.
So there's no risk to the bank whatsoever? It's just the risk is only two. And I wasn't here, so did Roscoe Bank approach us, or we approach them? How did that come about? It's a great idea. I'm just curious.
Roscoe Bank originated with a grant, and then the EDC decided to match the grant. The revolving loan fund was originally a concept within EDC, but that's not our lane. dunning letters and those kinds of things. So we thought of a better option to work with the originator of the grant to do that process. We've opened it up to any bank who wants to participate in a similar program.
Great, thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
None in favor? Okay, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see here. Now, we're going to go to 4E, consideration, discussion, and possible action on a request for a $10,000 support grant for an event titled Lights, Camera, Bastrop.
This is and I do have the applicant in front of us. This is an event that came to us via the Cultural Arts Commission. This event is meant to train folks in the film and action industry, and with an event planned at Mayfest Park. The request is for $10,000 from the BEDC, but very similar to our earlier conversation, there's no associated job or company that is going to receive the folks. So I'm going to let the applicant introduce himself and explain what it is he's trying to accomplish.
I don't think it's on. Oh, okay. I turned it off. Well, thank you, City Manager, Pro Tem Mayor, and the Council for allowing me to speak today. I'm grateful for the opportunity. My name is Mark Anthony Baca. I know a few guys I've seen you around town. Those that don't know me, I've been in the film industry for about 30 years. My specialty is stunts and special effects. I've been acting on and off during that time. I got tired of making everybody else rich, so I started my own production company so I can get rich. Just kidding. So start my own production company so we can make films, and during that process, I want to hire local people. When I moved to Texas, I didn't bring anybody with me but my daughter. I was a single father of my little girl, and I didn't want to raise her in California. I wanted to come back to Texas, where I'm from, and raise her in a community that's a small community to give those values that we love here in Bastrop. And in doing so, I want to keep everything local. I mean, there's a lot of jobs coming here. I've already personally filmed 6 films here in Bastrop that we made in the past 2 years. Now I'm leveling up to where I'm bringing films. I just won an Emmy last year for producing. And because of that Emmy, I've had SAG films reach out to me lately, the past 5 months. And now I'm pushing those films to come here so I can stay home and be with my little girl and still work. During that, there's not a lot of people here that can help with the film industry part of it, gaffing, the lighting, makeup, special effects makeup, all that. So what I'm proposing at my event, I'm like you guys, I want to turn over every stone, okay? I want to leverage every opportunity. My event was supposed to be just an entertainment event, but I like to leverage every opportunity. So I own an anti-bullying program, suicide awareness program. Been doing it for 30 years. I've been to over 100 schools across the country. When schools cannot afford me, I go anyways, out of pocket. I'd never say no. Now, when they can afford me and pay me a couple $100, I'm okay with that, of course. So I teamed up with mental health in the area. I'm gonna start going to the high schools because suicide is a big issue the past few years. It's gotten worse. And your contribution to our program is instead of charging people to learn about makeup and special effects, we're gonna just do it for free. I'm gonna do it anyways, regardless. If you help me or not, I'm gonna do it. But you helping me would definitely help me set the pace for other events. I don't go to the city. I'm not the kind of person to go to the city for every little project I do. I just need a leg up. You know, I got property in McDade, 10 acres. I just got property here in Bastrop, 11 acres. So we're going to be adding a lot more to your community. I'll give you an example. I'm also, with this $10,000 donation that you would make to the program, anybody that wants to take the classes can take them for free. We won't charge them. I'm going to pay the people to teach the classes so that I don't want to do that to them. We want quality instruction, safe instruction. Everything's insured. Make sure that anybody that wants to take the classes can take them, up to 50 people per class. We expect to do at least 4 to 6 classes on Saturday. for anybody that wants to take them. Now, it's going to cost me about 20 grand to put it on. All I'm asking is to meet me halfway for that, and I'll pay the other 10,000. Now, I'm also putting about 40,000 of my own money into the program itself. We have, right now, if you look at the website, and I'll scroll down here in a minute, we have 8 celebrities on this pitch deck. I actually have 12 or 13 celebrities coming now. So with this, I've also teamed up with the schools, the ISD. When I moved to Texas, my little girl's education was very important to me. So her being a special ed kid like I was, I graduated high school at 21 years old, only because my principal liked me. And I made her a promise that I was going to do something good with my life. So that's why I've been doing this anti-bullying program since high school. And it changed me. At first, I just did it to keep my promise, but I became what I promised her. So when I was looking at the school systems, I didn't just look at your education here in Bastrop, but I also looked at the comments on some of the things happening, like the bullying, suicide rate. And that was a concern for me because I've seen some comments out there. So I've been talking to Miss Lee from the schools, and we are going to do, and this isn't part of what you're doing, but this is part of turning every rock. Some of the celebrities are going to go with me to the school systems with my anti-bullying program, and we're going to mentor the kids on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The program I'm doing with you, I want you to help me with, is on a Saturday, all-day Saturday event where people can come learn about the film industry. Yes, it's going to be tough for them to take one class and get a job, but the thing is, it's going to show them if they really want to do this or not. It's going to give them an opportunity to say, yes, I don't want to do that, or maybe I want to try something else. Now, when it comes to special effects, that's my wheelhouse. If I see somebody that stands out, I will hire them. I'll bring them on as an apprentice so they can learn. So that is part of what I'm doing. Also, I have a segment of events coming up. We have the Lights, Camera, Bastrop in March. In April, I have a suicide awareness gala with some celebrities coming as well to help me promote that. We're doing a zombie walk. I haven't decided where yet, maybe Main Street. Special effects. The people that do the special effects, we want to pay them to come help with it and do a zombie walk down Main Street maybe, I don't know. City Hall, I'm just kidding. So Christmas time, I do special effects and stunts. I have a program that I'm creating right now to do a stunt show, Christmas show, at your Mayfest park that's going to last a week or two during Christmas, December time, and it's going to bring a lot of people like my event in March, but more people. I want our event to become so synonymous that people, when they talk about South by Southwest, I want them to think about Bastrop with Lights, Camera, Bastrop and the Christmas program. I want to put us on a map for those top 10 places to go with events. This is what I do for a living. Special effects, entertainment. I can get people here. Once you see what I can do this first year, maybe you guys won't want to hire me to do events for you. But I'm all about entertainment, kids, but I want to have a message out there. I want people to have fun, learn, but I also want them to take something with them that maybe they want to get into the film industry, they want to learn. And then I've already talked to Alton's Butler's sister, and we're going to be meeting next week. But we're looking at opportunities to kind of keep that money here in Bastrop to where we can mentor these people. The people that were just up here a while ago, Janice, wonderful people. I've been talking to them as well about possibly doing some teaching in Smithville area. So with that being said, this is the pitch deck. If you've been watching some of this is what I teach for my classes. The guy was really on fire. So that's me right there in the movie I did for a film. The about part, I guess you kind of know a little bit about me already. We're expecting approximately 5,000 people to show up at this event, but I'm actually starting to get to where we're going to get more people. I have people from out of town messaging me constantly. The website just came up a few days ago, so we're about to really hammer advertisement for the community. This is just a diagram of attendance we're expecting. Now, we do have some celebrities coming in from like Blood In and Blood Out. Some friends of mine that played in that movie will be doing a screening. These guys are older now, but they're all about anti-bullying and domestic violence. So when we do some of these programs, they're not just getting entertainment, but the guys are going to talk to them about those issues because I want them to spread the love instead of just coming out here to make money, So, little demonstration I did with John Schneider at an event. There's some references from different places I've been to. John Schneider himself, Amazon. That's one of my guys I lit on fire because he wasn't listening to me. I'm just kidding. So this is my sponsorship levels. Now, I did get a few sponsorships. I don't know a lot of people here yet, and that's why I'm asking for your help. Once I do this event, I know I'm going to have people calling me for my next one. So these are some of the celebrities we have coming right now. The Blue Power Ranger, which is one of my best friends. He's been in tons of movies like One Tree Hill, Bring It On Again, a cheerleading movie. He's been in dozens of movies. The guy next to him is Victor Rivas. He's been in The Modern Family, Blood In, Blood Out, The Hulk, many movies. The guy next to him, the third one, Jesse Borrego. He starred you know who he is, right? He was in Fame. He's been in a lot of movies as well. Whoops. There's a magician coming for the kids to teach about magic for entertainment. This guy's amazing. He used to work in Vegas. Whoops. Okay, I forgot this is gonna. I have to scroll. The Ninja Turtles. The guy in the very left, Ernie Reyes Jr. I just texted me a few minutes ago. He's coming, but also the guy who plays Shredder. So we're gonna do really something cool with the kids. We got the actual outfits coming, but he played Donatello. He's been in a lot of movies as well. The little girl next to him, her name is Annabelle. She was in The Walking Dead, good friend. Her mom's a good friend of ours, but she's been in Fear the Walking Dead and in many other films. Anime artists, the next one, James, and Antonio Sabato Jr. He's a model for Calvin Klein and been in General Hospital and several other films. But we have, like I said, several more people coming to the event, not just those on the screen. I also failed to mention that, in the process of building all these businesses and doing this, me and my girl are also starting a transportation company here. We already have one vehicle. We're looking at getting 2 shuttle buses, a couple of vans, a couple of SUVs, and we're starting a shuttle service here because a lot of people going downtown, it's hard to find parking. And if you come from the airport and they stay at the hotels, you can't get an Uber. So we're starting a transportation company here in town that'll help benefit the community. So with all the events that you guys know of that are happening, we'll have an opportunity to work together. So having this first event is crucial for me to be successful because that money's going to turn back over into the community. That's exactly what I want to do. And with that being said, this is part of the schedule. If you see the red Extreme Force logos at the bottom, they're on the website and people are already signing up for the free classes. So, that's just something you can look at. You can go to the website as well and see what we are offering. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
So, Chair, we have one of those legal challenges here.
Legal just weighed in, so I want to go to the presentation. In your packet, I cited this, gosh, where is my packet? Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the. So in the packet, it cited that this is not a likely project that can be funded because there's no ancillary industry. However, legal has pointed out, Mr. Attorney?
Oh, well, of course, back to our discussion previously about the under 20,000 in population. The other thing that has sort of popped in my mind potentially is this a promotional expense for the City of Bastrop? Does it promote the City of Bastrop? That's something for this board to consider. You're limited in the amount of money you can spend for promotions I'll have to look it up. It's a 10%. Yeah, 10% of the annual budget.
Are you looking at the Teams PowerPoint?
A question for the board and maybe Sylvia. Do we have, let me rephrase that. How much money do we have in the budget right now already dedicated towards promotion so that we understand where our threshold is?
Minimal, Angela, minimal.
It's broken out into separate categories, but we passed a very lean budget this year. So we're already looking at doing some budget amendments, mostly for the finish out of the building here.
But not specifically dedicated for promotion, that's what I'm asking.
No, ma'am, it's not one line item, no, ma'am.
If we have our capped, if you will, at 10% of our budget, and we're not spending hardly anything, we all know what the budget is, then this request does not enter.
No, you shouldn't be anywhere close to that yet.
No.
Just wondering, you're asking for $10,000, and I've heard different terminology you use. Is this be a grant, or is this a sponsorship, or is this a donation?
I'll take all three.
It would end up being a sponsor.
Sponsorship. So then, based on your presentation, so there's a certain sponsorship, and there's certain things that go with a $10,000 producer sponsorship.
Yes, there is. I can back up to that. Oh, that's not me. Sorry.
Are you trying to go to your website?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
your pitch deck there.
So if I go up to the levels, and I would love to see every one of you guys there. I'll even light one of you guys on fire if you want.
Wait, do we get to pick who it is?
Yeah, can we vote on that right now, please?
Oh, that helps? That is too funny. So one of the CEOs from Amazon came to my place in McDade. We do team building up there. And for corporations, they come to our place, and that's one of my businesses. And we lit the CEO on fire. So if you go to my team building website, you'll see that. But so I'm trying to get to that producer level so I can click on it.
Well,
I think it's so sensitive.
yeah, I'm looking at it here. I mean, it's.
You have a specific question?
Yeah, my question is, for a sponsorship, as it were, $10,000, there's certain products and stuff that we would receive. I'm just thinking, how would we distribute those? Who would get those VIP tickets and all the bonuses you get out of this? Or is that something we're not, I'm
So,
making sure we're not doing something that,
One thing to be perfectly clean, we raffle it off or we give it away or something.
okay, that's what I was wondering, what our options were for something.
Or don't accept it.
Or don't accept it, right. We don't accept the package.
That's what I was making sure.
It's more as a sponsor. So that's one way to accomplish that.
With our logo on assorted materials, et cetera.
yes.
Okay, that was my only question.
Well, the channel, just so you know, the news teams in Austin, Fox News, and a few other ones, they know who I am, and they want to come do a interview with this event and see everything we're doing because it's different, and it's not like South by Southwest. This is a lot different. So it's going to be really good, I think, for the community, being the first one, and next year will be even better. Let's just got to get the first one off the ground.
But I still get to pick who gets on fire.
There you go. Yes, yes. You can light them on fire. I'll bring you downstage.
And
fine,
would,
you can light
my question, Mark, is, if you'll light these two on fire, I'll vote yeah. No. My question is, would the EDC board be able to have an event booth?
Yes, oh, of
At
course.
there?
Yes, promote, for sure.
Well, well, for the city, not necessarily not EDC board, but for the city of Bastrop, would they be able to have a representative booth?
That would be awesome if you'd like.
Visit Bastrop would want to be there, right?
John, are you trying to get out of work in the booth, John?
No, we should just call a meeting and schedule it and do it there and bore them.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, light us all on, yeah.
Okay, well.
So, I came in kind of thinking that this wasn't going to work because as a job training thing, it didn't fit the legal criteria. But as a promotional thing, especially with the plans you've got and the, discussion here, I'll make a motion that we approve the $10,000 grant with the expectation that the EDC be promoted as a donor in the activity.
I have to recuse myself from the vote because I helped them initially, the Arts Center, kind of put this event together. So I'm going to, I just think it's better. So.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
For your presentation. All right. Very good. Okay, we're moving on to 4F, consideration, discussion, and possible action on approving an updated support services agreement with the City of Bastrop. Angela?
Good evening. These next two items aren't nearly as much fun as that last one was, apparently. These are just administrative in nature, and Mr. Zek can correct me, but I believe it falls under Local Government Code 501.007, which basically states that an EDC cannot accept services or any other kind of monetary value from the city or anybody else for that matter. We have to pay our own way is what it boils down to. So each year for the last 8 to 10 years or so, we've had 2 agreements. So right now we're doing 4F, which is the support services agreement, and that has historically been for IT, finance, HR, those types of things. With the BEDC's move to City Hall, we felt the need to also include rent, utilities, and custodial services. So that was updated in this agreement. I believe you have a red line copy of it in your packet. And the amount totaled is $25,000. Charlie, did I get that right? I'm sorry, sir? That is the change, was this, just to include those things because we didn't want it to look as if we were not paying our way.
But the amount has not changed.
Right.
Sounds like a deal.
Sounds like a deal to me. All right. So, yeah.
Somebody else, please.
Somebody else make a motion.
Second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you. Okay, let's see here. Consideration and possible action on Resolution R 2025-00.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I still have to do Main Street. It's a separate item.
Yep.
4G.
4G.
And again, okay.
I know I lumped them
It's on
together
the
in
paper.
my pre.
Sorry, it's on the paper. I don't
So
know, I got a weird copy of it.
we have a similar agreement with the city to help fund the Main Street program because they do help us with business retention and expansion and other things in the Main Street area. It's all stipulated in the agreement itself. The change to this one was that this year we budgeted $25,000 instead of $50,000. So that agreement also required an update.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I
Yeah.
want to bring to light, as we begin to partner with Main Street on small business, we may from time to time bring that to the board for additional dollars. This is the base amount that was in the original agreement. But for example, if Dory has an event planned that Michaela can lead, et cetera, et cetera. That's it from time to time. We didn't put a base amount because I don't know what that's going to look like. But my goal is that Visit Bastrop, the Bastrop EDC, Main Street, and our library component actually all participate in some of our redundant efforts.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Now reading from the paper here. Okay. 4H, consideration and possible action on Resolution R 2025-0002.
24.
No, it's 25.
Oh, that one is.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm getting to that.
No, I misspoke.
Rescinding the Resolution R 2024-0010 that suspended the sale of property in the Bastrop Business and Industrial Park. So, go ahead, Sylvia.
During the sports complex feasibility study, the board acted to suspend any sale or negotiation of property. Since we've taken action on the park itself, it's time to open the doors back up.
Motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, the motion carries. Yeah, no kidding. All right, 4I, consideration and possible action approving resolution R-2025-0003, approving a wastewater easement with Bastrop Independent School District as attached in Exhibit A, and authorizing the execution of the necessary documents.
This is an easement that the Bastrop ISD needs to connect to the lift station that's located in the industrial park. It is cutting across a flag-shaped lot that the EDC owns in between BISD property and the railroad track and the EDC industrial park. So I will make note that while the school district is going on this piece of property, you will see an additional easement required at this lower portion of the property, which would be water to the previously named Colorado Bend project.
In your opinion, does this easement negatively impact our use of the property, ability to sell the property, whatever it is that we need to do with it?
No, it actually improves the value of the property by having sewer available.
Okay.
That's the property contiguous to which program right now?
This is, the property here is BISD, which is where the public safety building is being completed.
I'm sorry, which property on our industrial park? Is that?
Oh, it's, on the other side of this is the detention pond.
Got it.
So it's coming up across, it's coming up and it's connecting into the lift station.
And they're paying for
Yes.
that? We're granting the easement?
Yes.
Is it just for BISD or just for the water line?
This is wastewater only for BISD. They are building a public safety facility and also, now in the future, it may be possible that the county has a warehouse on Lover's Lane. May be possible, I don't know any of that information yet.
So in order for this to add value to our property, it needs to have capacity for our property. Is it going to be bigger than they need?
I don't have the answer to that just yet, but I will verify.
That's a good point though, because if theoretically, if the other entity wants to utilize it for additional, we need to make sure that we do have enough capacity for it, which adds even more value.
So the other properties that I mentioned are way to the north. They're almost midway up Lover's Lane. That's a big stretch to get across. And some right-of-way acquisition would be needed, but I can find that out. And if possible, we want to participate in the oversizing of that line.
I mean, details matter.
Yeah, if it makes.
I mean, what does it cost?
sense.
And yeah, what is the,
Yeah, but I think that's something that we should at least find out
Yeah.
and understand, yeah. Okay. So actually, I'm not sure we could continue with any possible action until we find out.
So you're just granting the easement. That's not going to change. The diameter of
gotcha.
the pipe
Gotcha.
is what would change in any
Okay.
participation.
motion to approve?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those not in favor? All right, the motion carries. Thank you, John. Okay, that ends the public portion of it. We're going to get into 5 executive session. 5A, the Bastrop EDC Board of Directors will meet in a closed executive session pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, to discuss the following. Number 1, Section 551-071, consultation with the attorney on Project Fiesta, also known as Coldzin LLC. Number 2, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney and 551.087, deliberation regarding economic development and negotiations regarding a 380 agreement with Chestnut Commercial located at 1712 Chestnut Street, Bastrop, Texas. And the time is 7:25. The Bastrop EDC Board of Directors are reconvening into open session to discuss, consider, and or take any action necessary. Related to executive session noted herein, there is no action. I'll look for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, we are adjourned.